Do you like to learn Spanish? One of the first things to start to do is to have a motivation, and to do so, there's no better than watching the videos of Lang Focus. He explains the Spanish language, the culture, and the sentences, and the history, and different stuff like that. For example, how many people speak Spanish. It might be a reason for you to learn Spanish because there are a lot of persons. There are like zero point 0.5 billion people, or maybe another reason to speak Spanish is for professional reasons. There are a lot of companies in Latin America, in Spain, in Europe. And once you have your motivation and you have a lot of knowledge about the language, it will help you to keep learning and do it again and again, because you will face a lot of difficulties, but keeping your motivation will keep you going on, and then you will head into learning the basics. So to speak a language, you need words, you need to combine words, but you have to know how to choose these words. For example, scientific words are not the words that you're going to use in daily conversations, and therefore you will need to, for example, start using butterfly Spanish, which I recommend you because she explains very well and she organizes the videos in a great manner. For example, you might learn the vowels, different letters that you won't find in French or English, and then there are different other words like personal pronouns and words like you, verbs, adjectives. And if you notice when we speak, most of the words that we use a lot are connectors and verbs and personal pronouns. So you definitely need to understand how to use them and practice them, of course. Once you watched all these videos, I recommend you not wasting a lot of time on this. For example, just 1 week for this, just to have a global idea about the language and the basic expressions, and then you can start. There is one point about the Spanish accent, so do not be like, I have to learn the Spanish the Spanish from Spain, or the Mexican Spanish, or the Colombian Spanish, because they are a bit different, but they are not that different. So choose any teacher, do not focus on this for now, just let it go. All the countries, if you speak one Spanish, you can understand the others. So choose any teacher, just choose the one that explains very well, the ones that you like. And this is the channel where you will spend the whole time. You will spend like 1 year or even more here, because these are videos from TV series. It's inspired from Learn English with TV series. It's a channel that I recommend you because you will watch a movie and the teacher will pause the video and explain how to use the words, explain the meaning, and sometimes pronunciation tips and vocabulary, grammar, etc., but in a practical way, in a way that people speak daily. And the reason why you have to spend a lot of time here is because you will immerse yourself into the natural language, and you'll learn words, because language is words. So you have to learn a lot of words to be able to understand and to speak. And do not worry if you will finish one video a day or 2 or 3. What matters is how much you learn. So sometimes watching 10 seconds in 30 minutes is better than watching 30 minutes if you're not going to learn. So you have to be active while learning. So you have to remember the words you learn, you have to memorize better, and you have to understand how the words are connected and how the sentences are made, and you have to put attention to how the words are pronounced. And however, do not watch like a video during 15 days. So it might be a good idea to watch like 5 minutes from different videos, and once you have like a level to understand better, you can watch the full video. And once you have this knowledge of understanding and being able to express at least the basic expressions, you can move on to Spanish con Juan, because here you will learn the real Spanish, a lot of good expressions like the videos that we see here. And he speaks only in Spanish, but he speaks in a very, very easy way that will help you to understand him, but you need at least to understand Spanish. Once you are, and then while watching these videos, you can use the translator. But if you're doing it on your phone, which is something that I recommend you, because a language has to be a hobby, has to be something you can have fun with. So it is not something you're gonna do on your computer. It is something to do better on your phone while walking, while being outside, or while being in bed trying to sleep. That's why I recommend you the application ZTranslate. You can watch videos, and these videos, the application will give you the subtitles in your language and Spanish, and for every word you can click on the word and get a translation. So you're gonna watch the Spanish con Juan videos, and if you don't understand a word, you can just click on it and you get a translation. In the worst cases, if you don't understand the whole sentence, because sometimes you can understand a word, you can understand every word from a sentence, but not the whole meaning, because when the words are put together, they might have a different meaning. But a translator will do it for you, because it will give you the whole meaning in English. You might notice that it will use different words, but the meaning will change. So it is something to learn. It is better not to try to understand. It's not rules, it's not mathematics. So just learn it the way it is. Language is not logical, so there are exceptions everywhere. So the best way to do it is just to learn it the way it is, exactly as the children learn their mother tongue, their mother language, because they just listen and mimic and repeat. You tell them do this, they tell you do this. So it is the best way to do it. And at the end, if you have a good level to understand and to speak, you can immerse yourself in the Spanish world. You can travel, but if you don't have time or money, you can use the Hello Talk application on Apple Store, Android. So you will find a lot of persons from Latin America, from different countries from Latin America and from Spain, with whom you can talk to. You can practice your Spanish. You can teach them English, for example, and they will teach you Spanish. There are a lot of lives, a lot of kind people with whom you can talk every day, and so when you start, I recommend sending voice messages, and then you can move on to calls. And by sending voice messages, you can use this tip. Say the idea in your language so that you're not gonna be lost, and then go to the translator, say the idea in your language, and then say it again in Spanish. And if you don't know how to say something, go to Google Translator, and then at the end, send the message. And if you're going to express ideas and send messages every day, a lot of times you will be fluent and you will just speak without even thinking. And the only thing that you'll need probably is how to say word or verb or something, because you can't learn every word, even in your language you don't know all the words. So that's totally fine. If you don't know how to say a word and you're a bit lazy, you can just express it in a different way. You can give a definition. But sometimes, a lot of times actually, you can go to the dictionary and look for the word and learn it. This is actually when you have a C1 level. It's not something you're gonna do in an A1 level, because if you don't even understand someone and then you're going to talk to him, it's gonna be boring, and you're not going to learn. You're gonna lose your motivation. So when you are a beginner, it is much better to do it alone. Use Spanish for beginners, Spanish con Juan, Fluent U, and learn the words, the basics. And once you have the level to speak with people, you can start speaking with people. And finally, when you're gonna speak with people, you're gonna notice that your voice messages are a bit different. So to make your pronunciation better, you can record yourself. Use your cell phone, record your voice, and then compare it with a movie. I recommend to choose a person that speaks a good Spanish. I mean, not a person that speaks in a family way. So, for example, you can use the news channels because they speak a professional Spanish, and then you listen to a sentence and you say it again, you record it, and then you compare. You're gonna notice that maybe you are pronouncing certain letters differently. Maybe you have a rhythm that is not the rhythm that you have listened to, and then when you listen to it, you will notice the difference and you will make it better. There are some letters that are hard to pronounce. It's okay, with practice you'll get it. And once you've got everything, you speak like a kid, but still you don't know how to write. To know how to write, you can use websites that are called Paraphraser. A paraphraser is a website that allows you to write and then paraphrase what you have written. For example, there are differences in accents, of course, but also differences in vocabulary, etc. And the translator will give you a different way to say it, a professional way to say it, because in a paper we don't write as we speak. We have to write in a way that the person will understand right away, that he will read the text. You will have to summarize what you are saying. You don't want your text to be big, so that the person will struggle to read a lot of words. So you have to summarize and you speak in a better way. So what you're gonna do is you can start a course with a teacher, because there's no better than having a teacher that will explain to you how to write, because the teacher will know if the style is not professional, because you might get the difference between a professional style and a simple style in your language, but in a language that you are learning, it's hard in the beginning. So you can take a course, or you can use the Paraphraser, where you're gonna write the text and just look at what the website gave you. These are my personal tips. Let's now go to the general tips, because when we start doing something, we might go to Google and just write how to learn something, and it will give you a lot of tips. I'm going to comment the tips. It is my personal experience, so it is better to try your personal experience as well. Try your own methods. If they are not working, move on to other methods. But I'm going to comment them. At least you might get ideas on how I have used them. So set language learning goals. For me personally, I used to set goals just to learn the language. So I choose the language that I like, a language that is easier for me, and then I go to Google or to YouTube, and I just write why to learn Spanish or history of the Spanish language, and I try to learn as much as possible about the language and the culture and the countries and the people, because when I know more about it, it motivates me to learn more. And it helps me as well because when you start learning a language, you will learn just basic words, letters. So it's not a lot. Actually, it is a lot for your brain because it is trying to get familiar with these new words. But you will not feel that you will feel that you're not learning a lot. So to solve this problem, you can learn about the language in English. Just search for Spanish information. At least if you're not learning a lot, actually you are learning a lot, but on the same time you are getting more information on the same time. The second tip is learn the right words. So as I said, you won't learn in your first day how to say an animal, which is something that I see a lot. Like people on their first lesson, they learn a list of vocabularies, list of animals, a list of food. They're not words that you're gonna use. The words that you're gonna need is how to say I, for example, how to say we, how to say for example, how to say to. Just simple words that you connect and will allow you to speak at least with the sign languages. And the best way to find these words is to go to beginner playlist on YouTube. They are organized so you don't have to really struggle about it. And the third point is use flashcards. It's a lot of you might use flashcards a lot, but for languages I recommend you not to, because just remember how the kids learn their mother language. They do not write, they do not do a lot of efforts. They try just to immerse themselves and immerse their brain and mimic everything they see and repeat the words a lot. These are your flashcards. I recommend you not writing on papers or something, just because if you learn a word, don't worry if you forget it, because you will face it again. You will meet that word in the next days. If you won't, it means that it's not an important word. So the words that are important are the words that you're gonna meet every day. So it is better just to let the language give you the words that you have to memorize. So every time you watch a video, memorize the words and do not use flashcards, because you're gonna lose a lot of time, and this time is precious because you can use it to watch more videos. Listen a lot when you are a beginner. Once you are a C1 level and you would like to learn how to write a better text, how to write a novel, you might use flashcards because you're gonna find style expressions and you don't want to forget them. You have to be unique when you write in a good style. So this is the moment where flashcards are important. Study smart, visualize, vocalize, gesture. Study smart for me is trying a lot of tips, listening to a lot of people. Do not listen just to one person. Go to YouTube and watch like 5 videos on how to learn Spanish and try the methods. If it's not working, move on. This is just study smart. And you have to be active. So if you are learning but you're not progressing, your method is wrong. So you have to change it. Think in your target language. This is something you won't be able to do when you are a beginner, but once you are B2, it is good to start thinking in your target language. Have your translator side to you. You need something, just Google it. Start using the language all the day, every day. This is the same thing as the tip before. Get plenty of comprehensible input. Usually we listen to podcasts, we read books, so you have to switch to not completely, but sometimes read something in Spanish. But once you, when you're gonna have the B1, when you're gonna have the B2 level, you are able to understand easily without any effort. You might start reading in Spanish, watching movies in Spanish, but I recommend you not doing it when you are a beginner, because you won't understand, you won't learn, because it's passive learning. If you are just listening to music, just watching a movie without doing any effort, this is called a passive learning, and you're not gonna improve. So watch your movies and enjoy your podcasts in English. Once you speak Spanish, move on to Spanish. Watch movies and use subtitles. Use subtitles is important, and I recommend using Fluent U because Fluent U will not only give you the movie with both subtitles, but it will also explain certain expressions and how to use them and pronunciation. For example, in English, you're gonna write better, but you pronounce better. So in Spanish, there are plenty of other things that are similar. Listen to music and learn the lyrics. Just make sure to listen to music that is not hard to understand, like just simple music, where because usually even when you listen to music in your mother language, sometimes there are some songs that you won't understand. So it will be the same thing for Spanish. So imagine yourself speaking in the language that you are listening to in that song. No one will understand you. So movies are better than music, but music is good as a way to learn the culture and the literature. So it is something that you can do once you have a C1 level. To seek out real life practice, you can visit the country, but if you can't, you can use Hello Talk. Learn about the culture. This is something you can do starting from the beginning. It is a great way to motivate you to start, to keep learning a language. And for tutoring, you might choose a teacher once you have a C2 level to teach you how to write, because you don't need a teacher when you are a beginner, because when you are a beginner, you need to practice and repeat and repeat. A teacher will just do the same thing. Actually, the teacher will not let you practice. You have to use your brain, so it is better to do it alone. Test yourself. Plan a virtual trip. Travel and immerse yourself. This is the same thing. Learn from every mistake. This is my favorite tip, because you're gonna face a lot of problems, so you have to know, and you have to be able to discover why you are not progressing. It is difficult, but try to do it. If you are learning and you still do not understand certain words or certain tenses, so try to analyze it. Search on the internet, like how to learn, how to pronounce certain vowels in Spanish. So learn from mistakes instead of just abandon the course from the mistakes. And have fun. Have fun is something you will use when choosing the videos. So when you're gonna use, for example, the Learn Spanish with TV series, choose a series that you like. At least you'll have fun on the same time that you are learning. let's go to general tips on how to the ones that we discussed are general tips on how to learn any language. Let's now discuss some points on how to learn Spanish. Watch movies and TVs. Learn from Fluent U videos, like them. Learn grammar. This is a great tip, but you have to know how to use it. Do not care about the grammar when you are a beginner. You can, if you don't know how to say, for example, how to use the tenses, or usually grammar or rules, so do not care about the rules. Just speak the way you find the language, exactly as a kid, and learn the grammar once you have a C1 level to get a certificate or to write. Learn vocab from novels. Usually novels speak about a unique topic, so you will not learn a lot of words. And usually novels use hard words, words from literature that you won't use in daily conversation. So make sure it is something to do in a C1 level as well. In a B1, A1, use videos, use movies, because movies are daily conversation. It is something you will need in the beginning. Listen to podcasts. Download Spanish app. So for Spanish apps, these are apps that will help you to save the words that you are learning. It is exactly as it is a digital version of flashcards. I do not recommend them to you because I recommend them to you for learning how to write, but not for when you are a beginner. Travel to Spanish-speaking country. Let's say this might be a great goal. So you are motivated, but you have to keep a goal. Let's say that you're gonna visit Mexico in 2025, in 3 years. So you have to learn Spanish in these 3 years, so that when you're gonna visit Mexico, you will be able to speak with the local people, and they won't even notice that you're not fluent. So this might be a great global goal. Journaling in Spanish is exactly as speaking in Spanish. So journaling is actually speaking to yourself. So you can speak to yourself, or you can speak with people. Use the translator because it is important, and the translators of nowadays works better than human translators. Read newspapers in Spanish. You can read actually anything you like. Newspapers, magazines. So the things that you used to do in English, you have to do like some of them in Spanish once you speak the language. Learn Spanish with recipes. Not only recipes, but you can also learn about the human body. You can learn about politics. You can learn about sport, even if it is something that you don't like. But you have to get different vocab. Once you speak the language, you have to learn more words. So you won't find political words in movies a lot. So you have to watch, for example, a political speech or a tutorial on, or a video about economics, a video about games. So try to take different fields of life and watch at least like 5 videos on them, and try to learn as much words as you can, just at least if one day you'll have a conversation about it, you understand the words. do not do it in the beginning because you will lose your motivation. Thanks a lot. Actually, you have to thank me.